All right, next we have Senator Wajkowski with SB 1256.
Mr. Chair, remember seeing at 7 o'clock? As the staff report brilliantly points out in this 1.5-page bill, that the judiciary's jurisdiction is over the civil penalties. There's nothing new about the first offense, second offense, and third offense being the 500, 1,000, and 2,000 levels. City attorneys and city council or county councils would do the enforcement of the ban of the bill that's in print. And they have the ability to impose a civil penalty since it's negatively impacts violations and falls under their local jurisdiction. So this bill, SB 1256, moves away from the single-use products that harm the environment, poses a threat to safety and workers, and ends up in the landfills. There have been some questions. You know, I want to note that I am working with the opposition to SB 1254. I'd like to, who would like to see alternative approaches to an extended producer responsibility rather than a ban. Some of the points that may have been raised is that, are we just going to use one patent or a patent that's going to affect one company as we transition to refillables? And actually, there are multiple patents that are used in this industry. The patent for Flame King holds its location of the safety relief valve. Now, their patent is for the safety relief valve to be located within the stem or service connection valve of the cylinder. Worthington has the safety relief valve located on the top of the cylinder off to the side of the stem. This is the existing design when Worthington acquired the production facility in Kansas from Coleman more than a decade ago. To refill a single-use cylinder, the refiller must use the safety relief valve to allow air to escape while gas is flowing in. Flame King and Manchester refillables are designed with a bleeder valve, so the consumer doesn't need to touch the safety relief valve, thereby not affecting the integrity of the important safety design feature in this way. Any cylinder manufacturer can design where that safety relief valve is located on their cylinders. Since there are many ways in which to design the refillable cylinders to accommodate the safety release valve, there is no limit on how many can be designed and therefore patented. We understand that Worthington already installs safety release valve cores from several different manufacturers into the Worthington cylinders during the manufacturing process. So again, it is possible to have multiple entities with patents on valves. The sponsors who have stated that this bill does not, and it's not intended to, benefit one company or one company's interests. And we want to transition to more reusable cylinders that get out of the waste stream and want California to benefit. But with that said, my office and the sponsors have committed to continuing to work and have discussions with Worthington and the opposition to see if we can find an agreement on both the details and the standards of a possible extended producer responsibility for these materials in California. And with that, I have Priscilla Quizero with the California Product Stewardship Council and Doug Cobalt with the California Products Stewardship Council here in support.
So thank you, Senator Wajkowski. In the interest of time, let me raise just a few issues that either you or perhaps your witnesses can address. The first issue is, and you alluded to it, is that the opposition says that this bill would dictate a product design that benefits one company and only one company that currently holds a patent. Issue one. Issue two is that the opposition is saying, you alluded to this as well, that a more effective way of dealing with this issue is a product stewardship program. So either in your close or perhaps the witnesses can address those two issues. Thank you. So, Ms. Quiroz?
Quiroz, yeah.
Quiroz, okay, Ms. Quiroz.
With Shawyer Entry, Schmelzer, and Lang here on behalf of CPSC sponsors the bill. I'll just go straight to the points that, you know, Worthington is, not only, there's two companies right now that are doing the refillable propane tanks. So that's Flame King and I believe it is, Manchester. So as Senator Wajkowski stated, Worthington right now can go ahead and, it's just basically where it's stated on where they can form that safety relief valve. So Worthington right now can design the cylinder in a way that could be refillable and do a similar kind of design that Flame King and Manchester have done before in the past. And Doug Cobalt can talk a little bit about more of the patent issue. Did you want to go ahead?
Thank you. Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. I have some handouts I'd like to hand to the Sergeant, and I think will help. Absolutely. There we go. Thank you. I think that these will help to guide you, because what Senator Wajkowski explained to you with the service connection valve, the safety relief valve, the bleeder valve, there are a lot of valves, and you'll see these on the sheets that I'm handing out. But I think it'll clarify for you that, as Senator Wajkowski pointed out, the patent that Flame King has is only on the location of the safety relief valve. It is a safety measure in case the propane cylinder, either during filling or during transportation or any time, starts to exceed the safe pressure within the container. That valve opens up and releases enough gas to bring it back down to that safe pressure. And so that is there as a safety mechanism. It was never meant to be a valve to open up so that you could release air to refill these cylinders. And so folks that are actually refilling these single-use cylinders are, one, violating federal law, because if you refill these and then put them out on the road, take them out on the road, you are actually in violation of DOT, federal law, Code of Federal Regulations. And then two, you're putting yourself at risk, because now this cylinder has done something it should have never been done. It was never designed to be refilled. And so this is why it is so complicated on the safety relief valve issue and the connection valve and the bleeder valve. And so I wanted to make sure that that was clear, that this is not a patent on the stem, which is where Flame King chose to embed the safety relief valve and then the safety relief vent, which you will also see in those diagrams, which is right below that safety relief valve, so it allows it to be released. And so I just wanted to clarify that, and hopefully that will help you understand better the issue about whether or not there's a patent lockdown here or not.
All righty, thank you very much. Also, Miss Amy Hams, is she on the phone?
She had to hop off due to another conflict, unfortunately, but
She didn't anticipate we'd be going 9 hours?
no.
I can't imagine that. All right. Okay. Those others in support in the room, in room 1200, seeing no one approaching the microphone. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Seeing no one approaching the microphone, now let's turn to the phone lines. Those in support of SB 1256. Moderator?
Okay, for SB 1256, everyone, if you press 1 then 0 on your telephone keypad at this moment. We have 2 people that have queued up. We're just waiting for their line numbers to be given to them. One moment. Line number 755. Your line is open. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Chair, members. This is Michael Daft with the Praya and McKaylee on behalf of Republic Services in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fires. They blow up.
Line 930. Your line is open. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members. Elena Ortiz on behalf of Rethink Waste in support.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And nobody else is in the phone queue.
All right.
Apologies, I actually did have somebody that I was supposed to provide. Jason Schmelzer here on behalf of National Stewardship Action Council, Alameda Stop Waste, and Western Placer Waste Management Authority in strong support.
Thank you very much. All right. No one else on the phone, no one else here. Opposition, Mr. Robeson, you've been here since 10 o'clock this morning, and the microphone was not keyed to electrocute you when you approached it. But thank you for your patience. Go ahead.
Mike Robeson here on behalf of Worthington Industries, and I'm not exactly sure what Mr. Cobalt handed out on the patent. I'm going to stand by my client's letter and all the conversations I've had on the patent issue. It's an integrated valve, and it's an integrated valve for a refillable cylinder, and our client doesn't make a 1 pound refillable cylinder, so they don't, and they don't because they don't have, to have a safe valve, you'd have to get this patent. You'd have to work through this patent and and purchase the rights to that and do whatever it takes to use somebody else's intellectual property. So we stand by the fact that this bill, its net effect, the net effect is that Worthington would not be able to market the 1 pound cylinder that they do now under the Coleman brand and some other brands, and the beneficiary of that is going to be the patent holder, YSN Imports, who has the brands Flame King and Little Camper, and so I'll stand by that, and that's the net effect. But to get to the more salient point, and the point that Senator Wachowski made, and this point the chair made, is we think the appropriate response is producer responsibility. We testified to that in the Environmental Quality Committee. The senators, I think, I don't want to speak for him, he could speak for himself, but I think he thinks that that's the right approach. A producer responsibility program would actually capture all cylinders, not just 1 pound gas cylinder, propane cylinders, but other isobutane cylinders that are used in torches, that are used in other applications. It would capture the refillable cylinders, because at some point the refillable cylinders, whether you refill them or not, they have an end of life too, and they have the same disposal problems that a disposable cylinder has. And just to make clear, we understand the words that we're using. And with all due respect, Senator, it's a disposable cylinder. It's not a single-use cylinder. I mean, I have my cylinders in my garage. I've had for they're in my garage a long time because I don't camp that much. I mean, I turned 50 and I don't like camping anymore. But you can get a lot of uses out of them. You could probably get about at least 15 uses out of them. So they have practical applications that I don't think you want to ban. I want people to understand there are people that are living out on the river who are
30 seconds, Mr.
keeping warm and cooking food with disposable propane cylinders. The refillable ones, they cost about twice as much. So, you want to ban these, you're just going to cause people to spend more money to stay warm at night with their sleeping bags. And there's other practical uses, disaster response situations where they, people come out and
Thank you, Mr. Rose.
So,
I appreciate your patience today. Others who are in opposition here in room 1200, seeing no one on the phone. Those in opposition on the phone line. Moderator, if you would queue up those in opposition on the phone line.
For those that have opposition on the phone, at this moment, press 1, then 0 on your telephone keypad. It appears that we have no opposition.
All right. Let's bring it back. Questions from those here present. Senator Durazo.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure of what, Senator Wachowski, what you're saying in terms of, I think I heard you say you want to work on this alternative to the ban. Yeah, and I'm really glad to hear that, because I don't want to see a ban if we can figure out the alternative to it. And it's coincidentally just talking about earlier today under a previous bill about what happens in this green economy, right? And here we have the threat of 236 workers, right, making good money, represented by a union, doing good work, abiding by, environmental protections on air and water quality. They're doing all the good stuff that a company should be doing. So I don't want them to lose their jobs if they're doing good stuff, if we can figure out how to redo it or reboot it. So that's a commitment I'm hoping to get from you.
Go ahead, Senator Wachowski.
those good people in Wisconsin that are making these containers could make a returnable container if they had to, or they could certainly work on the line to make sure that they get a valve on it that they have to release, so there's not this patent problem that we have. But that's what we're trying to do. I've got their letter, I've seen the letter, but they can, there are a lot of people, good union jobs where people are making returnable bottles or containers. And that's the idea that we started off here, is that we want to get these disposable or non-renewable containers out and get people into reusable ones that go camping and have propane tanks. I'm committed to continuing to work on, if I can get to the extended producer responsibility, nobody else is doing this. I mean, Connecticut has a bill that's before their legislature, so there's not like a lot of people in this area. How do you get to the details of the collection? People are camping, so you'd have to have the collections out at the parks and the places where people camp. You've got the sporting goods stores that sell that. Some of them only sell reusable ones, so they only want to take those reusable ones. But you have my commitment to, to find out more about the Connecticut bill, look at what the legislature has and work through it, and, get something that's good for the environment and good for the workers.
Thank you. Senator Drost, Senator Laird.
This is an issue on beaches in California. And I know I recorded public service announcements about recycling the canisters because they were being left all over the universe. And so this is an identifiable problem. And yes, in the ideal world, we'd have extended producer responsibility. But I think the thing that you were on to is the appropriate response to Senator Durazo is having the same jobs, just have them manufacturing recyclable or more environmental things with doing it. And I think this is still, there's some open issues with this bill. So I just heard your commitment to work on it, to address these issues, and we'll vote to move it along. But I just wanted to acknowledge that along the coast, the disposal of these is a big issue, so.
All right, Senator Laird. Other questions? No questions, no comments? All right. Senator Stern moves the bill. Senator Wachowski, before you close, Senator Wachowski, you and I have spent some quality time together on this issue, and I know you are a person of your word. You have committed to continue to look to see if an EPR is workable in this circumstance, and I appreciate that. And I look forward to you continuing to work with the opposition to get this all squared away.
And I'll use it as my close, Mr. Chair, and urge, and I vote.
Thank you. All right, Madam Chief Counsel, if you would call the roll.
This is Senate Bill 1256 by Senator Wachowski with a motion by Senator Stern. The motion is do pass. Umberg.
Aye.
Umberg, aye. Borges. Borges, no. Caballero. Caballero, aye. Durazo. Durazo, aye. Gonzalez. Gonzalez, aye. Hertzberg. Hertzberg, aye. Jones. Jones, no. Laird.
Aye.
Laird, aye. Stern.
Aye.
Stern, aye. Wachowski.
Aye.
Wachowski, aye. Wiener. Wiener, aye. That's 9-2 with everyone voting. Senator, 9-2.
Everyone voting.
Yes.
Bill's out.
Bill's out.